The best survival gear in the world costs nothing, and never did. The preppers spending thousands on equipment are missing the point. In a real emergency, the people who walk out alive are not the ones with the heaviest packs. They are the ones who know how to use what is already around them. 7 of those items are within reach of you right now. I'm giving you all 7. And the last one, most preppers produce it every single time they build a fire and throw it straight in the trash. It does 5 completely different jobs. One of them keeps infected wounds clean with 0 medication. Stay with me. The first item is pine resin, the amber-colored sap that bleeds down the bark of any pine tree, and it is completely free wherever pine trees grow. You're 2 days into a backcountry emergency. Your lighter died, your matches dissolved in the rain, you have a fire steel that throws sparks, but nothing is catching. You look up, and there's a pine tree 10 feet away, dripping sap down its bark like slow honey. That sap is highly flammable because it contains the same chemical base used in paint thinner, which means a chunk of it pressed into dry tinder catches a spark faster than anything you paid money for. Melted, it waterproofs leather and seals cracks in containers. Hardened, it works as a field adhesive stronger than most craft glues. It is the tree's own wound sealer, and it works just as well for yours. Pine resin solves fire and waterproofing. But there's a problem that kills people faster than either, and the solution is standing in almost every swamp and wetland in North America. Most people walk straight past it. The second item is cattail, the tall plant with the brown sausage-shaped seed head growing at the edges of ponds and marshes. It is night. You are wet and your core temperature is dropping. You have no sleeping bag and no insulation. In a few hours, your shivering will stop. And when shivering stops, your body has given up trying to stay warm. The brown seed heads of a cattail burst into a fluff that traps body heat the same way expensive down insulation does. Stuff your clothing with it, and you buy yourself hours. The young spring shoots are edible raw. The pollen is a calorie-dense flower substitute. The gel inside the green leaves is mildly antibacterial, meaning it slows the bacteria that cause wound infections. Every U.S. military survival training program covers cattail identification in the first module. Here's one more clue about the last item. Every single fire you've ever built has already produced it, and every time you swept up afterward, you threw it away. The third item is char cloth, and it costs nothing but an old cotton t-shirt and 10 minutes over a fire. You have a fire steel, but the sparks keep dying before anything catches. You have been trying for 20 minutes, your hands are shaking, the tinder keeps failing. What you need is not more sparks. You need something that glows orange the instant one spark lands on it. When you burn cotton fabric inside a sealed tin with a small hole poked in it, the fabric chars without fully combusting, meaning it turns into a carbon structure that catches a single spark and holds a coal better than anything sold in a store. Think of it as turning an ordinary sponge into one that absorbs sparks instead of water. It lasts indefinitely when stored dry, weighs nothing, and the raw material is a shirt you are going to throw out. Most experienced preppers spend money on commercial fire-starting products that do exactly one job. What you just learned does 3, but the next item does something those products can never do, and it works completely soaking wet. The fourth item is newspaper, and it is free from any recycling bin, library, or coffee shop. The temperature drops to 28 degrees overnight. You have a jacket and no sleeping bag. The cold creeps in through your back and sides. By 2 a.m., the shivering starts. By 4 a.m., the shivering stops. And that is the moment your body has stopped fighting. Newspaper crumpled loosely and layered inside your clothing creates dead airspace, pockets of still air that cannot circulate and carry heat away from your body. That is the same mechanism that makes a down jacket worth $300 work. Newspaper does it for free in under 10 minutes to apply. Urban survival practitioners have documented this technique, keeping people alive at dangerous temperatures for over a century. Newspaper keeps you warm, but warmth without water is a countdown that runs out fast. The next item fixes that, and you almost certainly already have everything you need to build it right now. The fifth item is an improvised rainwater collection system. The water supply is down. You have 3 hours of water left in your house. Tonight, it is going to rain. You have no barrel and no storage tank, but you have a tarp, some rope, and empty containers. Tie the tarp between 4 anchor points with the center dipping low like a hammock and place a container underneath. A 10 by 10 foot tarp in a moderate rainstorm collects up to 60 gallons in a single hour. Filter it through any clean cotton cloth before storage to catch debris. 0 cost. Built in under 5 minutes. The sixth item is willow bark, the outer layer of any willow tree, identifiable by long, slender leaves and a preference for growing near water. You have a fever, a sprained ankle, the kind of headache that makes it impossible to think clearly. And the situation you are in right now requires clear thinking. Willow bark contains salicin, the natural compound that aspirin was chemically copied from, which your body converts into the same active ingredient found in a standard aspirin tablet. Chew a small piece of the inner bark or steep it in hot water like tea. The pain and fever response is real, documented in controlled scientific studies, and has been used as treatment for over 3,500 years. Willow trees grow in every U.S. climate zone. They are free and they grow back. Here is what you now know about the last item. It comes from fire. You've been producing it and throwing it away every time you've ever had a campfire. Armies going back to ancient Rome carried it. Not for food, not for fuel, but for something that kept soldiers alive longer than anything else in the field. It does 5 jobs. One involves your garden, one involves clean water, one involves a wound that is starting to go wrong. You are 1 sentence away from knowing exactly what it is. Here is where that sentence starts. You have a wound. The edges are turning red. The skin around it is hot. You know what an infection looks like, and that is what this is becoming. You have no antibiotics, no antiseptic, nothing from a pharmacy, but you have a fire. And next to that fire is something you have swept up and discarded 100 times without a second thought. Wood ash, the gray powder left behind when wood burns completely. It is highly alkaline, meaning it registers on the chemical scale at the opposite end from acid, and most harmful bacteria cannot survive contact with it. Packed dry against a wound, it draws moisture out and disrupts the environment infection needs to spread. Mixed with any fat or oil, it produces lye soap, the same soap every civilization used before industrial chemistry existed, which kills surface bacteria as effectively as commercial hand sanitizer. Worked into garden soil, it delivers potassium, the mineral that builds strong root systems in plants at 0 cost. Stored with dried grains or vegetables, it repels insects without pesticides. And dissolved in water, it creates a powerful cleaning solution that strips grease and disinfects containers, the primary field sanitation agent in Roman legions, in both world wars and in military camps across 6 continents. 5 jobs, no cost, completely renewable as long as you have fire. You have been throwing it away every time. Pine resin from the bark, cattail fluff from the marsh, char cloth from an old shirt, newspaper from a recycling bin, rainwater from a tarp, willow bark from the tree by the water, and the gray powder at the bottom of every fire you have ever built. That is the kit, the one that costs nothing, the one hiding in plain sight. If this changed how you think about what is already around you, share it with someone who still believes survival has a price tag. The complete 72-hour home setup, everything staged and ready before tonight, is already on this channel.